Self-care is giving the world the best of you instead of what's left of you. Written by Katie Reed. Hi, welcome back to Life is a Treasure podcast. I'm your hostess, Michelle Durand, and this is episode number 6. On this episode, we're continuing the series, Treasure Yourself, and we'll be talking about self-care, what it is, what it's not, and how to implement more of it in our lives. Before we get started, I wanted to thank everyone who has been listening to the episodes and all of the encouraging support. I'd like to give a shout out to one of you and read her message. Her name is Kendi on Instagram. She is Kendi Jane 18, and her YouTube channel is Kendi Jane Beauty. And she wrote, I just listened to your first podcast. You are so amazing. I love how you have taken such a tragedy in your life and have used it to help so many people. You are so inspiring. Thank you so much, Kendi. Her words brought my heart so much joy because she summed up the mission for this podcast show. And I appreciate every one of you who takes time to listen, share, rate, review, subscribe, and even write to me. Each week, I'd love to give a shout out to a listener who tags me or messages me to show my appreciation. So thank you again, Kendi, for your encouraging words. Now back to self-care. Oftentimes, especially as moms or caregivers of others, we neglect our own self. We tend to place others' needs before our own. We all do this at times in our lives, and I believe we can all help each other to remember to take care of ourselves also. The truth is that if we don't take care of ourselves, we won't be able to take care of anyone else to the best of our ability. I remember the first time this hit me. We were living overseas and we were on the airplane, and the flight attendant announced, "Put your oxygen mask on first before helping others." And I sat there thinking about this concept and the metaphor of my own life as a wife then and a mom. And I was like, wow, I never really thought about this. And on that long flight, I had lots of time to digest this new concept. Plus the fact that I needed a flight attendant to actually tell me that, that should be common sense, right? But really, I probably would have tried to take care of my 2 very young children before even thinking about myself if there was an emergency. Yet, without my own oxygen, I would not be able to last long enough to take care of them, much less myself. So that is when I realized just how important self-care really is and that it is not selfish. The truth is, if we don't take care of ourselves, no one else will. It's our responsibility. Plus, in order to care or help anyone else, we need to take care of our needs first. This is true for our mind, our body, and our soul. We can become drained and burnt out if we don't. Then we're of no help to anyone, not even ourselves. Yet so many times I still find myself in this state. And it's normal, and especially nowadays in this very fast-paced world that we live in today. So how do we begin? I believe that we should start with basic needs such as sleep, nutrition, and nurturing. Think of all the things that your children need: food, sleep, movement, play. We all still need those things because we're all humans with basic needs and care in order to survive. Yet as we become adults, we seem to think that we don't need them as much. But the truth is we do, and sometimes even more. So some tips that I have are drink more water, eat nutritious, wholesome foods, take supplements if needed, get plenty of rest and enough sleep, and make sure to play. I love playing outside with my dogs, in my garden, watching my birds. Nature is so healing, especially to my soul. I read, meditate, journal, and sometimes I work outside. I have always loved being outside. How about you? What makes you happy? Are you making time to do those things? It's up to you to create time and to prioritize yourself. Even if it's only a few minutes in the bathtub at night, if you have little ones. fill the tub with warm water, add some lavender Epsom salt, light candles, play soft, relaxing music, and chill. You will feel so much better. Please let me know if you try this. And also, like any other ideas, share so we can all learn from each other. But it's up to us to make time for ourselves daily in any ways that we can. I've always had my quiet time when my kids were growing up, and they respected it and they understood that. And most of the time I had it as soon as I got home from taking them to school. So I cherish those times. And that is how I found inner healing. So I encourage you to try it and make it a habit to spend time by yourself doing what you love. And don't feel guilty about it. If you like support and encouragement, I invite you, join our Facebook group, Life is a Treasure Podcast. We'd love to help you on your journey. We are all on a journey together and learning every day from each other. Now that we've talked about self-care for our bodies and touched on self-care for the soul, let's talk about self-care for our minds. I love this one because I believe that it is so important to realize that our mindset controls how we take care of our bodies and our soul. For example, when my mindset about my body was unhealthy, I did not care about eating properly or exercising. I struggled with eating disorders, and I still do sometimes. It was a very bad habit, and it was super difficult to break those unhealthy habits. But I had to first change my thoughts about myself and about my body. And if I want to take care of my soul, I have to make up my mind that I will nourish it with healthy things. I will be mindful of what I watch on television, what I listen to on the radio, and I will make time to read and journal and meditate and do the things that I love. I have to choose to fill my soul with uplifting conversations and inspiring information, but it all starts with our mindset, which are our thoughts. How do you think about yourself? How do you feel about yourself? How do you take care of yourself? Are your thoughts and feelings towards yourself healthy? If not, please know that they can change. And I'm living proof of that. You can change how you think about yourself, which will change how you feel about yourself. I didn't think highly of myself after I went through a divorce. I actually started to hate myself. I spiraled down a scary path, and by the grace of God and the help of loved ones in my life, I was able to pull myself out of that place, and I started learning how to replace those negative thoughts with more positive ones. It didn't happen overnight. It was a gradual process and always evolving. I continue to learn and grow and change. I also hired therapists, and I'm a strong believer in therapy. I have an appointment every month with my therapist here, and I can tell you that just that practice has helped me heal my mind, my body, and my soul in so many ways. There is no shame in reaching out for help. It's important to find a therapist that you are comfortable with, and it helps so much to just have someone outside of your family and circle of friends to confide in and allow you to navigate through some issues or the areas in your life that need attention and nurturing. They can hold space for you to feel and to share in a safe environment without judgment. Therapy is definitely one of my most important priorities for my mind and soul self-care, and I highly recommend this for everyone. There are also great virtual online sessions available if you can't go in person. So let me know if you need assistance finding someone. You're never alone, and you are worthy of healing. Our body not only needs care and nurturing, though, it also lets us know when and where we need healing. Our body stores memories. Our body talks to us all of the time. We have the choice to ignore it or to listen to it. So I wanted to dive into this topic more. So next week, our guest is going to be Jo Ridley. She's the founder of The Body Talks. Jo supports socially and environmentally aware people to recover or avoid burnout so they can increase their impact in the world. Jo helps people to slow down, reconnect to their body wisdom, and live more harmoniously with themselves and nature. She helps those who desire to feel full of energy, strong, relaxed, and healthy in their body. Jo is an educator and a facilitator with over a decade's worth of experience guiding groups all over the world, including Scotland, Africa, and South America, and creating programs as the education manager at a center of transformation. She has experienced varying degrees of illness health through her whole life, and then in her early 30s, she ended up experiencing chronic fatigue syndrome for an entire year. Wow, I love her stories, and I love this quote. She says, "I decided to start listening to my body instead of seeing it as a problem that needed to be fixed." Our conversation is so rich and full of great information, and Jo is full of wisdom, and I know that you'll enjoy it. So please make sure to subscribe to get notified when this episode is released, and we'd love to hear your feedback and answer any questions you may have in the Facebook group, Life is a Treasure Podcast. I hope that you've enjoyed this episode, and we look forward to sharing the next one with you. Thank you so much for listening to Life is a Treasure podcast. As we begin to share our secret stories, others find the courage to start sharing theirs. And this is how the healing begins. So please help us by subscribing, reviewing, and sharing this podcast. And make sure to tag me on Instagram at Michelle Marie with 2 E's, Durand, DURAND, with hashtag Life is a Treasure Podcast for a chance to get a shout out on the show. Also visit lifeisatreasure.com for all resources mentioned and freebies. And don't forget, come join us and continue the conversations in our free Facebook group, Life is a Treasure Podcast. The link will be in the show notes. You can also find my social media links on the website, lifeisatreasure.com. Again, thank you so much for listening. Until next week, peace, love, and joy.